This probably isn't exactly a fresh observation, given that people have been wanting one of these for a while now, but where the hell is a 40k FPS or third-person shooter? Like a multiplayer one, where I can get some friends together, we can have fun murdering our fellow man online, that kind of thing. You see this unedited Halo footage I've got playing in the background of this video right now? Why can't I have a 40k version of that? 40k has had some shooters, don't get me wrong, ranging from hot dog shit like Fire Warrior to it's fun when it isn't actively breaking every 5 minutes like Space Hulk Deathwing, but the series has never really had a shooter in the same vein as Call of Duty, Halo, or indeed Titanfall. Every 40k shooter has had some kind of gimmick. In Space Hulk, you're an 8-foot-tall lumbering piece of steel, and Daddy Issues is one of the Dark Angels, and while it can be an absolute blast, it never really feels like a shooter that I'd round up the boys to play for a night of gaming. And while that Necromunda shooter that came out fairly recently was fun, it's still got the same issue. It's not the shooter I'm booting up to play for a quick few rounds of team deathmatch with a Warhammer paint scheme thrown on top of it. I mean, it's single player only, so yeah, no shit, but gameplay doesn't support that even if there was that kind of mode. It's more or less just a worse version of Doom. Still an incredibly fun game, because being Doom but slightly worse is still a 9 out of 10, but it's not what I'm looking for. I guess I can't speak that much on Fire Warrior because my experience with it was laughing at the Mandalore video, but even if it was exactly what I'm talking about here, it doesn't get any points because I'd rather headbutt oncoming traffic than play that game. What 40k needs is a casualized shooter in the vein of Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo, or hell, even Titanfall again. I'm not saying it doesn't have to be unique and shouldn't stand apart from other games. You can add some 40k flavor to it, and should. It's a 40k game, don't call it one and have me play as Master Chief. But if you do want to say rip off Titanfall, maybe you can have a knight walk in after enough kills. Imagine you're running around as a space marine for a while, but after you get, I don't know, like 10 kills, you can call it a knight, and from the edge of the map comes walking in this slow, bulky death machine that turns everything around you into paste. You could even have the grunts be guardsmen, and the more elite NPC units be things like Skitarii. Imagine that, stepping on everything around you because you have a fetish for tall women. I mean, because you want to pilot a big robot. Yeah, that's what I meant. Or hey, if you really wanted to be asymmetrical, you can have each Warhammer army represented uniquely. Have the Tau loadouts emphasize shooting, have people who pick Eldar be really powerful but weak as all hell. If you want to sell the individuality of each Warhammer army, that's probably the best way to do it. And then when you call in a knight, it can be the same thing. Eldar knights are flipping all over the place like a Ronin, Tau mecha suits have enough missiles to blot out the sun like it's 300, and Orc Stompas are the best thing available because they're really funny and I want to see that abomination animated. Eagle-eyed viewers out there might notice I'm just describing Eternal Crusade, but there's a few key things this hypothetical shooter that's never going to exist needs. For one, it needs to be developed by a publisher that makes more than backports of good games and Barbie shovelware. Like, I'm sure everyone at Behavior Interactive was doing their best, but the skill sets needed for an online shooter and Doritos Crash Course are very different. Not knocking Doritos Crash Course, of course. I mean, if you never played it, I'm sorry your life is so empty and void of fun, but that's not the team I'd bring in for a shooter. There also should be the weird MMO-style mechanics and map-picking stuff that was going on there. For the life of me, I don't understand why I couldn't have just used Team Deathmatch and captured the flag searches, and instead it used this weird map selection thing. I do not understand whatever the fuck I was looking at with this game. Same for the loadouts, just give me a base toolset I can edit and customize. I understand making yourself unique is a good thing, but when it makes playing the game a chore, maybe dial back the creativity. I know your parents would hang up your cool artwork on the fridge when you were a kid, but I'm not trying to appreciate it when I just want to shoot someone in the face. Some marketing for the game would also probably help. It's not quite the same thing, but I feel like Darktide is already dead in the waters. I saw the reveal trailer for it, got incredibly hyped up, and then for a year or whatever it's been dead silent. I don't really care about the game anymore, and that hurts to say. Don't do that, because then the game turns into Eternal Crusade, where I couldn't find a game and had to do a solo mission against AI Tyranids. I couldn't even win because it was designed for 4 players at once, and that sure as hell wasn't happening. Hell, I couldn't even go grab screenshots while I was recording this so I could prove what I'm talking about is a thing. That's how dead this game is. It doesn't exist anymore. Also, don't do a Space Marine and have 50 different options for multiplayer matches that you can't search for all at once, so after 3 weeks no one wants to bother finding a match anymore. Again, Titanfall did it so well. Search for whatever you want. Sure, you're just gonna get attrition because that's the only game mode worth playing, but you can still look for the other ones if you really want to find the 5 other people playing those modes. If nothing else, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with making, say, a Halo clone with a Warhammer skin on top of it. Maybe not 100% ripoff, but hear me out. Now, making a game faithful to the setting is probably the best thing possible. The thing is, when it's unique and turns off 90% of people, no one's gonna want to play the damn thing. Every game that tries to prioritize being unique over being fun is just shooting itself in the foot. It's not a crazy concept. You can hand me the most elegantly packaged gift that's wrapped in golden foil by Hephaestus himself, but if I open it up and it's just a piece of shit covered in rusty sheet metal, I'm not going to be happy with the gift just because it's presented to me nicely. I'd much rather a nice gift that looks like the wrapping was done by someone who doesn't have any arms. And much like this tortured analogy, I'd rather a game be fun than 100% unique in vision and faithful to the world of 40k. And I think a shooter like that could be a lot more well received than something like Deathwing. Everything that's come out for 40k in that department has been far too niche. Sure, I appreciate being a slow-ass tank man plodding down a corridor that can barely fit me in it, but people who aren't into 40k and blow a load whenever they see Terminator armor probably won't. Something fun, quick, and easy to get into would be the best thing to have for a 40k shooter. Look at the most popular games. Apex, Halo, COD, they're all simple and easy to get into. I know the crossover between people who spend 10 hours painting a small piece of plastic and 12-year-olds railing Ritalin to go 20-2 in Warzone isn't the biggest, but that shouldn't be the point. Also, I've never played Warzone, so I don't even know if it's a battle royale and you can go 20-2. And the game shouldn't be entirely watered down to formulas with a 40k paint job, but it doesn't need to have the same level of depth as tabletop does. That's not fun. Don't just appeal to his plastic painting nut jobs. Make something fun first and foremost, where I can jump into a match knowing it's in the world of 40k, but I'm not just playing it because it's a 40k game. I just want to have a fun shooty game in the universe. Something I can whittle away the hours playing with friends like I do with Apex. Not that it needs to be a battle royale, and for the love of God, I hope it wouldn't be, but with the same kind of casual fun with friends vibe. After all, you don't need to be a fan of 40k to appreciate ripping someone in half with a chainsaw sword. The point of this video is that I like to ask for things that I'm never gonna have. But more importantly, a more casualized 40k shooter that isn't trying to appeal only to Warhammer fans might be the thing to make a truly great 40k shooter. By trying to primarily just appease 40k fans and be entirely authentic, it's at best limiting its marketability and at worst making the game worse in the name of authenticity. But if someone makes something fun and it just so happens to be a 40k shooter game that's based on the franchise but isn't shackled to it, I think we get something real damn spicy there. That's my take anyways. Let me know why I'm wrong in the comments, and Deathwing is the masterpiece of alt shooters or whatever. I assure you I read the comments. I may not listen to them in the arrogance only someone with a slightly popular YouTube channel has, but I do read them. Thank you as always to my channel members. You are the scavenger perk to my Modern Warfare 2, ensuring I am always able to keep going on to the next horrible Xbox 360 public lobby. I am a pussy who used Riot Shield, and if you were as well, consider becoming a member. Or do it anyway so I can pump out more garbage like this on the regular. Thank you all for watching, and take care out there. Okay, now this is an entirely unrelated rant, but I need to know what other people have to say on this matter. What the hell happened to the sniper rifle in Halo Infinite? I mean, I don't mean to blow my own horn, but in all the previous Halo games, I was a sniping master. I had that accuracy on lockdown. I was like the White Death of Xbox Live. Up close, far away, it doesn't matter. I was landing those shots. And yet in Infinite, I can't hit people with it for shit. What happened? Is it just me getting worse? I don't feel like it is, because I still end my hits in other games, but the moment I load up Infinite and grab a sniper, it's like all the brain power devoted to keep my aim steady just drains away like an inflatable pool that just got cut open. Is it because the gameplay is faster and I just can't mentally compensate for it? Did they change the hitbox of the sniper bullet and it's smaller now or something? I know it's hit scan, so it doesn't really have a hitbox, but did the radius of the shot's damage area shrink? What the hell happened and why am I suddenly trash at sniping? Can't be my fault. I'm a Halo god. Clearly something else is at play here. And while I'm complaining to be cool that the Halo Infinite weapons weren't an affront to all things Halo, the Commando is straight garbage. Who looked at the DMR and said, you know what? This weapon is too good. Get rid of it and replace it with something worse in every way. Every time I spawn into a Fiesta match with the Ravager and the Commando, I'm immediately unhappy. I will actively try to get myself killed just to reroll my weapons. And don't tell me to just scavenge one off the ground, because the longer those things are on my screen, the more unhappy I am. Mangler's great though. Anyone who disagrees is just straight garbage at the game.